We're gonna cover a lot of really terrifying stuff that's been happening to us recently. There's something standing there. It lifts its arm and it just tap, tap, tap. I can see its fingers. They must have been 12 inches long.
What you said to me on the phone, I remember you said something really weird happened last night.
Yeah.
I think I tapped more into my psychic abilities than
I ever have. I was freaking out.
Oh, I was seeing faces and some
yeah.
of them were scary, demonic looking, and that's why I was so scared, but like everyone, did you hear that? Yes, I did.
You got thrown in the deepest of the deep ends that I have never gone to, not knowing what was happening. We were receiving these downloads and this information and seeing these crazy images the same night.
Literally just the cuddling like threw me off.
You liked it.
Last time Amanda spent the night, I was sound asleep and I'm awoken to the noise of What?
All my memories are gone.
No. Try refreshing it, like closing out and coming back into it.
Oh my god, it's because I'm on your account. Like, or not your account.
Gosh.
I'm on our account.
Oh. The panic.
I was devastated. It's because my entire life is taken on Snapchat.
I hate you.
If Snapchat got deleted. If Snapchat got deleted.
There's no way you take everything on Snapchat. Who the f keeps looking?
It's just my vibe. It's just Bo's vibe.
Instead of knocking, can you turn on that flashlight? It turned on. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're Mackie and Amanda. I'm Mackie.
I'm Amanda.
And we're the Spooky Boos.
I mean, I enjoy our sit-down talking videos, but we're gonna cover a lot of really terrifying stuff that's been happening to us recently. So I'm gonna refrain from saying I am so excited for this video.
And it's just, like you said, just like really weird stuff that we're just like, what the fuck? So I'm kind of hoping someone out there will know.
Yeah, like for us, it's something that multiple things that we've never experienced that we can't explain. I guess mine, although I've never really experienced it, I might have an explanation, but we definitely would love your guys' advice and opinions. I don't even know where to start.
I don't either. Do we start with the thing that happened to both of us?
Yeah, I feel like that's a great one. Okay, so Mackie and I call each other every morning.
Yeah, every morning.
For what we do, you would think that we would have more scary things happen to us in the middle of the night. For the most part, though, we're pretty good. Except this night.
This was, like, I thought I was having a psychotic break. Like, I thought I wasn't even gonna bring it up to you because I didn't think it was anything like that until you started talking about it.
But what I experienced, although it was the exact same thing as what Mackie experienced, like, the word that comes to mind is, like, almost blissful. Like,
what you said to me on the phone, I remember you said, something really weird happened last night.
Yeah.
I think I tapped more into my psychic abilities than
I ever have before
in my entire life. And I was like,
no, I was like, and like not even to toot my own horn, I was freaking out. Like the amount of information that I was getting from these spirits and the amount of spirits that were coming in and the things that I was seeing and just everything combined. I was like, if I could teach myself, if I could learn somehow to put myself into that state, I could read anybody in the entire world. Like, that's exactly what I said to you. Like, if we could figure out how to teach me to do that, like, I could do anything for it.
And I said to you, oh my gosh, what happened? And you described that to me. You said when you were getting just non-stop images and I stopped you. I'm like,
I was like, it was like downloads.
I was like, stop it right now. That same thing happened to me last night and I was freaking out. I didn't even know. The only way to describe it was like I closed my eyes and it was like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, going from thing, like
Yeah.
so fast, just images and stuff in my brain.
It's information. It's information that you were getting.
Yeah, but like I couldn't even make sense of it because it was going so quickly, and I'd hear like a voice, and then it'd be like a rolling movement over it.
Yeah, you could hear talking, but then the talking would distort, and that person would take a step back. And maybe you weren't seeing the people like I was, were you?
Oh, I was seeing faces, and some of them were scary, like demonic looking, and that's why I was so scared. But like,
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Like some of them were like terrifying looking, like just really scary.
Like not like human faces, but distorted.
Yes, so just terrifying, and it was nonstop. And I'd open my eyes, and it would stop, and then I shut them again, and it'd go right back to it. I'm like, how? Like, I thought I was having, like, a mental breakdown or, like, something, because I could not control my brain or my thoughts. Usually, like, if I'm having anxiety or something, I can, like, completely, like, wipe my mind, so it's just, like, a black space. I couldn't do any of that. Like, I had no control over it. So when you started talking about it, I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, this happened to me last night, and it was terrifying.
And for me, it was, like, if I could train myself to do this, like, if I could put myself into this state, I could help so many people, because I could sit down with somebody and like, oh my gosh, I can't even explain it. Like I'm happy and excited talking about it, and like I feel so bad because it was so crazy and intense for you, and it was like super crazy and intense for me. But I think because maybe I've like seen the dead in a different way for so long, that for me when it happened I was like, this is insane, but at least I was kind of prepped for it.
Yeah.
You got thrown in the deepest of the deep ends that I have never gone to, not knowing what was happening.
No, like literally I didn't have any idea, because like you said, it was like seeing like just a bunch of like different people, and then like there'd be the demonic looking ones, and then there were just like random images of random like things
like,
in
their life.
Yeah, that's so weird. And I wasn't even thinking like, oh my god, these are people trying to come through. I'm like, okay, like this is something demonic, or I'm having like a mental episode. So like, why did it happen?
Okay, well, not even why did it happen. Why did it happen on the exact same night? And I also, not that it even matters, because like I rarely dream, but I was awake also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it was just
I was
weird.
wide awake. I was wide awake watching TV on my phone. I turn it off, I lay down, close my eyes, and it starts.
I was in bed, it wasn't even late, and I have a light on in my room, like it's my little fish tanks light.
Yes.
So my room's not even pitch black, and then I have the doors open for both of us, so there was light in the room. We were wide awake, and we were receiving these downloads and this information and seeing these crazy fucking images the same night.
It's so weird. And I was just thinking, like, you know those like old school like sketchbooks where they like take the pages, like the flip books, and like the image like goes. That's like how fast the images were moving.
It was crazy.
So why was it happening to both of us on the same exact night?
Why was it happening at all?
I don't know.
And then both of us at the same time.
I don't know.
So I guess our questions are, has anybody else out there experienced this? Does anybody out there know what we experienced or what happened to us? Or, I mean,
like, that's the hard part about all this. There's no one we can ask. Like,
no.
I feel like we're pretty knowledgeable on it, like especially you. So it's almost like, I don't know, like who do you go to? There's no book, there's no, like you can't look these things up.
Like I don't know what to type into Google for that.
Right.
Like what do I type into the search bar? And there are people out there that are so much more knowledgeable than me, but
remember I did look it up. And it happened to a couple other people.
We found this on Reddit, though.
Yes.
This was a Reddit forum of other people who have experienced the same thing.
And it was, they
called something. They had a word for it.
Yeah, and they all thought it was like like something spiritual as well.
Did you say it was something with your third eye?
Yes!
And
your
releasing your pineal gland
yes.
and releasing like DMT.
It's something.
And it happens when you die or when you're in an extreme accident or have extreme cases of adrenaline or
that's
something
exactly
like that.
what it is. When you're in a near-death experience or something like that, your brain excretes DMT.
Yes.
And so a lot of times when people are dying, they'll like say weird things or be like, oh, I see like this person's in the room with us. That's coming from your pineal gland, which is also known as the third eye. So a lot of people are like, when you open your third eye, you become more spiritual. The people online who had experienced this, they think it was DMT releasing from your third eye for some reason.
Huh.
So that is, but super, super weird. Just the fact that they were talking about the third eye, when you hear so much that the third eye is like all spiritual stuff, it was very weird. Like it literally, I could see like when people dying, like, and they start to have these weird experiences and say weird stuff and get happy. I could totally see them like having an experience like that.
Oh yeah.
Without the scary faces and everything. Right. That's one theory, but I'm not 100% convinced on it.
It was the only thing that we could find online that might have some relation or like where other people experienced similar things. But if you guys know someone who have, or know what we went through, please tell us in the comments because I would love to learn more about it. Also, I just want to throw out, how long ago was this? Maybe 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So if you guys had the same thing happen to you about 4 weeks ago, it's getting weirder.
You need to know because this was like the fact that it happened to both of us. I don't know at the same exact time.
It was like 10 or 11.
It was, and I just don't like. Why would that happen to both of us?
I don't know.
And that's not the first time that stuff has happened to both of us at the same time on the same night.
Oh no, it's not. This next really insane thing. It was absolutely terrifying.
It was like the next day, right? Or like the same
It was week. The same, I was gonna say it was the same week for sure, but I feel like it was closer than, like obviously within the week, and it was close, but I can't remember how many days were in between. Okay. I was going to bed again, and so it was pretty...
Sorry, I forgot to tell you a story that happened, like, around that time.
Do it!
Okay. No, you go first. I just got remembering.
Don't forget. Okay. I was going to bed again. It was dark outside. Where I live, there's no street lights. There's no, like, I don't live in a city. There's not a lot of city lights. You can see the stars perfectly. I live in a beautiful, dark area. But it comes with it being a little bit scary. And like I said, I can be laying in my side of the bed and see outside the living room windows. Like, we have 2 of them side by side. I'm laying down and I look up. I wish I hadn't. And standing outside of the window closest to my door, the one closest to me and to my front door, there's something standing there. How tall my windows are, if I stand outside my window, Mackie could probably be able to see, like, maybe my head. I don't even know if she could see my full head, you know?
Yeah.
And the couch is taller than the window, so maybe you wouldn't even be able to see the top of my head.
I don't think you'd be able to.
But, like, Brendan, who's 6'3", 6'4", I can see the top of his eyes when he's standing on the ground. This thing, I could see its head, entirety, like, of it, neck, shoulders, enough of that when it lifted its arm to tap on my window, I could see its full, like,
oh
here.
My god.
I mean, we have a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, I mean, even mountains, you know what I mean, that you can see through the window, and the sky's not completely black, and the moon's lighting it up enough that I can see that outline of the mountains against the sky, and this thing is completely black and right against my window.
Oh my god.
And I'm staring at it for a really long time, maybe a minute, maybe 2. Before it, and I'm really trying to say maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. I know it's not the mountains because of this and this. I know it's not a tree because of this and this. And as I'm running through trying to logically think what it could be, and I really feel icky looking at this thing. But I'm hoping, like, maybe it's just fear, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
As I'm trying to rationalize it in my head, it lifts its arm and it just tap, tap, tap on my window.
Oh my god.
And I can see its fingers, and they must have been 12 inches long. Like, just skinny, long fingers, and they almost, it's not even like he had nails, but
like
almost As if, yeah, it's like almost as if his fingers came to a point. You know?
Yeah, did it...
Like they were sharp.
Did it look like a solid, like, outline? Or did it look like hazy?
No, it was solid outline, solid black. I couldn't see facial features. I couldn't tell you, like, if it looked like it was furry or anything. It just looked like a black shadow. And it had the body of a man. I mean, it had its arm, it had its elbow that it lifted up, and it had the 5 fingers. And I remember it, like, putting I remember it putting each finger on the window.
Oh my gosh.
And, like, it was just...
So what'd you do? Did you tell it to leave?
It gets worse, actually.
Okay.
As I'm watching it put its hand on my window, I'm nervous, but I'm not like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like stand your ground, and so I'm not standing, I'm laying there, sitting there looking at it. Its hand on my window, it's just outside my house, whatever, I'm gonna ignore it, it's gonna try and scare me, whatever. But as I'm thinking that, its hand comes through the glass.
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
And I stood up, because Brendan's asleep next to me, and I stood up, and I got out of the room and I walked into the living room and I was like, go. And it took its arm, because it like didn't stop moving, you know what I mean? Like once its hand went in and I got up, by the time, and it's not a long distance, by the time I got into the living room, and I didn't go far in, kind of stepped into my doorway and like, just so I wasn't right next to Brendan yelling. And I just sternly, you need to leave, go.
And it left.
And its hand, like, I'll never forget it, and that's why, like, I'm going into so much detail. Yeah. Its hand that was now, had to have been into here, maybe, like, around elbow length into my house. Just...
What the fuck?
Get out. And that was it.
Like, why did it think it could come into your house?
I don't know.
That is terrifying. Have you, like, felt anything like that since then?
No. Very, very, very weird.
That's like one of the like most bone-chilling stories I've ever heard.
To be honest with you, it really did make me super uncomfortable.
Just the fact it like saw you there and started reaching its hand through, like it was trying to like show you like that it could.
Yeah, and it was like we were looking at each other for so long, or at least I was. No, we were looking at each other. We were looking at each other for so, like, what seemed like for so long, before it finally decided to, you know, like just every attempt to be as scary as it possibly could. The fingers on, the holding, the pushing through the window, like it really put a lot of energy and effort into trying to scare me, and like, I'm not gonna say like it didn't work, you know what I mean? Like I was freaked the fuck out, like, but I mean, I got up and I told it to leave and it listened.
Well, something scary happened to me like that same week that I forgot to tell you about.
Really?
Yeah. One night I was laying in bed and like very rarely I get sleep paralysis, and when I do, like...
Did you get sleep paralysis?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I used to get it a lot, like all the time, and I'd try to wake myself up and I just like couldn't move. I haven't had it in probably like 8 months at that point, and usually I don't see anything. It's more if I just feel something, like either like touching my back or my chest, and just like feel like something's there. This night I woke up with sleep paralysis, and I just had like the overwhelm, like my body was just like terrified, like not even my brain at this point, but my...
You told me this.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. With the...
On the bed?
Oh, no, this is a different one. That one was just like, that one was just weird. Okay. This one was terrifying. It's like my entire body was so scared. It felt like my legs were trembling, but they weren't. But I couldn't move, and my eyes were open. They were either open or closed, and I was seeing the room with my eyes closed. One of the two. But I'm laying there, I can't move, I'm terrified of something, and I'm looking at the bedroom door, and I can see someone's feet like underneath the other side, like walk in front of the crack, like standing there, and I knew whatever there was just like demonic, like so bad. And the door slowly starts to open, and I've never felt this fear like in my life.
And you sleep with your door shut.
I know. And so the door starts to open, and this little girl is standing there. She's probably like...
How have you not told me
I don't know. She's like this tall, and she is literally like skin and bones. Yeah, bone thin with skin on it. Like bones with skin. And her eyes are like sunken in, like just looks awful. And she starts, and I knew it was like, okay. And as she starts walking towards me, she's getting closer and closer, and I didn't know what to do. I was frozen. I couldn't do anything, and the closer she got, like the worse I felt. And literally it just came in my head, say Jesus. I said Jesus, and it stopped. I could move. She was gone, and I could, from the second I said Jesus, I could move.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was honestly one of the most terrifying things I've ever like felt. Like it was like my body was already terrified before my brain could even register what was going on.
That's insane.
And it was this little, like I'll never forget what she looked like. Her leg, like it's literally a bone with skin on it. And she was in a white, or I don't even know what color, but just like a nightgown. Like it was trying to look like a little girl, but like it was so fucked up. And just the fact I said Jesus and everything stopped.
Wow.
That was that same week.
And I think this can take different forms.
I know. Like, I was kind of thinking this was when we were like sick and stuff. I wonder if all this like heavy stuff was happening because we were like weak. But it was like, so scary
that you said that. I just try to always be on guard, you know what I mean? Like even when that thing happened and was coming into my house, and like if I was asleep I wouldn't have known. And part of me is like, ignorance is bliss. Like I would have just been asleep, it's fine. And the other half of me is like, I'm glad that I was awake so that I could see it happening and I could see it.
No, that's
none of our equipment.
I know, it literally sounds like it is.
And I can see it coming in, but okay, we're good.
Yeah, no, it's terrifying to think like what's really going on when we're asleep, because recently, like the past couple of times I've woken up, it's been like a little weird stuff going on, so I'm glad once I'm...
You just got up to check the camera.
It just turned itself off.
Turn it off or restarted it maybe, and it just turned itself off. Like right when you sat down, it turned itself off.
Oh my god.
It's not a heat warning. You would have seen the heat warning.
There was no heat warning when I just looked at it.
The battery is not dead.
It literally just turned off. Does it say anything?
Nothing.
It wasn't literally a second ago when I got up. You can see me get up and walk behind the camera and look at it to make sure that we were still recording. All right, well, our camera turned back on, so
thank goodness. But we lost our train of thought.
We did.
So I guess that pretty much sums it up. I guess that pretty much sums it up, I guess.
We mainly want to ask everyone's opinion, if you have any ideas what could have happened to us.
If it's ever happened to you, let us know. And definitely while you're down there doing those things, hit that subscribe button.
We hope you enjoyed this little sit-down story time like the old days. Sit-down story time like the old days. Sit-down story time like the old days.
It was quick, but we had to get it out there because that was really weird stuff.
We've been talking about it ever since, so we had to.
Anyways,
thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.